There's a real tragedy here if you think about it. During the 1980s, video games were generally thought of as side-scrollers. The 2D platformer was the most popular and the most prevalent genre in the industry, and to this day, it's still one of the most common associations with the very concept of the video game. The difference is their commercial popularity just isn't the same, and that's where the tragedy sets in. Had it come out 25 years ago, this game would have been massive. It would have been played and, most importantly, purchased by millions. It would have nabbed a spot not far from Mega Man, Contra, and even Mario within those hallowed halls of the most popular and pivotal platformers. Now that sounds like hyperbole, and maybe it is, but I adore this game, and I can't help but think that in a different time and in a different industry, a lot more people would have painted Sideway, New York with the same colorful verbal aerosol. Released this month to the PlayStation Network, Sideway New York may not be the mainstream smash it might have been. It's harder to stand out in the crowd these days, especially for a video game that takes up bytes instead of plastic. Instead, Fate has a different role for this one. Sideway is the latest example of the platformer's creative resurgence in the last few years, and in a lot of ways, this is one of my favorites. You play Sideway as Knox, a graffiti artist who finds himself in a bit of a predicament. While tagging up the city, he paints over the work of another artist, an artist who isn't human. This gets Knox sucked into his own sprawling urban canvas. He becomes the graffiti, and from within that colorful world, he has to save his own. The story sets up the game's brilliant premise. As a living piece of graffiti, Knox is restricted to moving on walls. So, for example, if you're walking along one side of a building and you walk into the corner, Knox actually bends around the building. This moves you to the next wall, only it doesn't have to be a wall necessarily. And that's where the game goes from interesting to brilliant. Knox can move along any flat surface. Now that's mostly walls, but it can also be the roof, for example. In fact, it could be almost anything. And what's even more interesting is that a surface can actually be explored in several different ways, depending on which corner you approach it from. So what was the floor a second ago can be the ceiling if you come from a different direction. So you pair the idea of multiple surfaces with the concept that those surfaces can actually be played from different angles, and then you throw in the theme and the art style, and you start to get a sense of the potential for awesome level design here. And fortunately, the game largely delivers on that potential as well. Sideway is also a nice value too. It only costs $10, but you're getting about a dozen levels, each of which hides plenty of collectibles and challenges you to find them all, Yoshi's Island style. There are also some online leaderboards for score sharing, and to max out those scores, exploring the game's clever levels to the fullest is a must. And believe me, that's an exploration worth making. Hyperbole aside, this is a game inspired by classics, but it's a game that also takes the ideas of its inspirations further. The difficulty is satisfying, the mechanics are tight, the art is great, and the experience absolutely blew me away. Sideway New York is a platformer for a new era, a brash side-scroller that dares to ask, why limit the sides?